Jiffy, also known as Lilium Cobra. Welcome to my channel. If you like this content, be sure to do all the notification-y things, both here and on Twitch, because you won't want to miss what's next. Enough of that, now let's get to it.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the Lily Dog Nation. My name is Snide, and we're going to be going through patch notes 10.3.5 or update 45 of the Elder Scrolls Online. Alright, this is one with quite a few changes, so we're going to go through them. I'm going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly. I will have timestamps down below. Feel free to use those, or just put me in the background and listen as you play your games or go about your merry day, driving to work, being an adult and all that stuff. I'm here for it, you know? Anyway, let's go ahead and just get right into it. Welcome to the Elder Scrolls Online 10.3.5 Fallen Banners Dungeon Pack and Update 45 Base Game Patch. This update brings two brand new dungeons, Exiled Redoubt and Lepsiclusa. New homes, new furnishings, new gear to earn, and several quality of life improvements for the base game. Additionally, there are some incremental combat changes and general bug fixes. The Fallen Banners Dungeon Pack has two challenging new PvE dungeon experiences for you to take on with your party, Lepsiclusa and Exiled Redoubt. The new dungeons come with new achievements and earnable rewards, including item sets, collectibles, and more as you fight to preserve what little peace remains in the war-torn regions of Cyrodiil. Along with the new dungeons, we have some new base game features and quality of life features being added in Update 45. Player response options open a new way to add roleplay choice as you interact with quest characters, ultimately impacting their responses and quest outcomes. For quality of life systems, you'll see an overhaul of the in-game map, green champion point star improvements, mount speed adjustments, and starter zone art refresh, just to name a few. I'm actually interested in the mount speed adjustments. I hope it goes faster because those mounts feel like they're getting slower and slower every time I ride one of them. I want them to go faster. I want zoomies, okay? There will be additional content going live later in the Update 45 update cycle, like this year's Prologue Quest and Cyrodiil Champions. The Prologue Quest, A Guild in Crisis, sees the resurgence of a once defeated foe in the worm cult wandering Tamriel once again. Look forward to this and all new Reaper Strikes worm cult themed encounters popping up across Tamriel. It's basically just another zone encounter that you run into just walking around the zone. I'm assuming kind of like when you're wandering around and then you have like this little rune on the ground and then a couple enemies drop down. I'm assuming that's what they're referring to. It'd be cool if they weren't so predictable, but yeah. The Cyrodiil Champions Vengeance campaign is a 1-week test focused on reducing server complexity and cutting down on server stress during mass battles. We will have more information on timing later this month. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, Cyrodiil has big battles. It's big, kind of open world PvP. It's been neglected for I don't know, around a decade now. So I mean, I'm sure, you know, they've also been saying that they're gonna fix it. They've been saying this since 2017, and shit, it's 8 years later and it's still in shambles. At least they know it. At least they acknowledge it. All right, so apparently they're gonna fix it. But as an ESO veteran, I'm gonna say I will believe it when I see it. Okay, I'll hop into Cyrodiil and see how things are going. But I'm not holding my breath, otherwise I would die. Okay, just saying. However, until then, a full detailed list of Fallen Banner and Update 45 content, please check our patch notes below. This size of this update will be 2.3 gigabytes. Patcher update size is 32 gigabytes. Pretty massive update. All right, so table of contents, we got an overview, new features, updates, big changes, blah blah. All right, let's get down to the meat and potatoes here. All right, new features, updates, and big changes. Fallen Banners Dungeon DLC. Gather your party for two challenging new PvE dungeon experiences, Lepsiclusa and Exiled Redoubt. Unlock new achievements and earn new rewards, including item sets, collectibles, and more as you fight to preserve what little peace remains in the war-torn region of Cyrodiil. Now, I would care more if you had to actually run to the dungeons, but you can just fast travel to the dungeon, so you don't actually have to run through the war-torn region of Cyrodiil. Please note that the Fallen Banners Dungeon Pack is currently available for ESO Plus members. ESO Plus members get all DLC dungeons for free. Well, by free, I mean, you know, as long as you're paying the $15 a month subscription. If you play ESO regularly and you're going to do it long term, I'd recommend ESO Plus. Biggest reason is the crafting bag, which is a bottomless bag that holds all your crafting shit. All right, highly recommend it. But yeah, to continue, there will be additional ways to acquire the dungeon pack after update 45 console launch, including in the Crown Store. Yes, you can outright buy them if you want, but if you're getting the ESO Plus, don't bother buying them. Please see Matt Farrer's post here for the original statement, and stay tuned for more information during the April ESO Direct. All right, Exiled Redoubt, the Albus family. Harry Potter fans. You gotta fight Albus Dumbledore. Once staunch proponent of peace and finding a diplomatic end to the Three Banners War. I mean, that's actually kind of similar to Dumbledore. Three Banners War suddenly turned bloodthirsty. Whatever caused their change of heart sparked a movement that seeks to punish every soldier, the generals that command them, and the heads of the alliances themselves. The Albus family's machinations? Words, people, words. Started small, but their goal is total destruction. Cool. Lepsiclusa. The Three Banners War impacted lives all across Tamriel, and perhaps no one felt that impact more than the soldiers that fought and bled on the front lines. As the war dragged on, a growing number of veterans became disillusioned with the constant fighting and sought a means to end the conflict. One such individual is Orpheon the Tactician, the former battlefield emperor of Cyrodiil. Orpheon broke from his chains of allegiance and recruited despondent deserters into a fearsome army. Orpheon's goal is to seize an Elder Scroll, said to have the power to end the bloodshed. All that stands in his way are a handful of monks and moth priests sworn to protect the scroll. Will you be the one to stop him? I am willing to bet not. Or you will, if you actually care. Anyway, I'll be doing those dungeons, getting some mechanics out of the way. I'll write those mechanics down and we'll put them on our site. And, you know, eventually when I get the site done, I'll make a video covering the stuff for it. You know, you'll all be covered, I promise. Promise when I stop being lazy. Additional dungeon information. Exiled Redoubt and Lepsiclusa are 4-player dungeons which can be reached via Westfield and Hughesbane respective. Okay. What's this talk about Cyrodiil and then you put it in Westfield and Hughesbane? Answer me. I want answers. ZeniMax, give me answers. You should have put these dungeons in Cyrodiil. Hughesbane and Westfield aren't even close to Cyrodiil. I don't think. I could be wrong. They might be. Let me look up the Tamriel map. I haven't actually paid attention to locations in a long time. I need to go here. I guess they're close enough. Yeah, they're close enough, I guess. I'll give it to you. I let you off the hook. Exiled Redoubt's entrance is in the eastern Westfield, near Grey's Hollow. And Lepsiclusa's entrance is on the dock in Abba's Landing. Okay. You can also just fast travel to them via any way shrine or, you know, the activity finder, you know, if you want to go to them that way, instead of actually searching for them. Both dungeons include a normal version and, in addition to, a veteran version. Each dungeon features challenging hard modes for each of their 3 boss encounters. There are unique item sets, including 2 new Undaunted Monster Masks sets, only available within the dungeons. As with every new set of dungeon, you always get 3 new sets and a monster set, so same old. Unique achievement rewards are available for completing the dungeons, including the following. Unique skin, good. They're adding in a unique skin, something to just make your character look different. It is called the Tactician's Gold Lattice Skin. It is available for those who complete both Exiled Redoubt and Lepsiclusa on at least a veteran difficulty and trigger the achievement Fallen Banners Delver. 2 unique mementos, the Haunted Mirror of Introspection and Dust of the Conqueror's Flame mementos, are available to players who complete Exiled Redoubt and Lepsiclusa respectively on at least veteran difficulty. A unique die, Exiled Goldenrod, is available for those who complete the Fallen Banner Scout achievement. and they don't say what that achievement entails, but I'm sure we'll see it in game. 7 new achievement furnishings are being added and can be unlocked or purchased after completing the prerequisite achievements. 3 new achievement furnishings that can be purchased from the Undaunted Quartermaster after completing Exiled Redoubt Vanquisher and Lepseclusa Vanquisher and Slayer of Death itself achievements. 4 new trophy and bust furnishings can be earned from completing the Exiled Redoubt and Lepseclusa dungeons on normal and veteran difficulties. Base game map improvements. The team has been looking for new ways to improve ESO's in-game map with the intention of making it easier to understand and parse for both new players and veteran players alike. While there are still more changes we wish to implement in the future packages, the first batch of quality of life improvements include the following changes. For those that don't know what this is talking about, when you open up your Elder Scrolls Online map, there are waste shrines everywhere. So, and housing and all that stuff everywhere. So the map is so cluttered. It's like you can sometimes barely even click on the island you're wanting to go to. I'm talking about in the Hammerfell region. There's this tiny little island that's special, like specifically for itself, and you can't even click onto the map with the way shrines to see which way shrine you're wanting to go to or anything like that. It's miserable. I'm glad they're cleaning this crap up. It is just too cluttered. The Tamriel view of the map will now only show one way shrine per zone. The Tamriel view of the map will now only show favorited and primary homes. You may still favorite as many homes as you'd like. This is good as well. Once again, when I said the housing and the way shrines are just completely cluttering everything, yeah, you can at least, make your houses your favorites and still see those in the big thing. And what they're talking about with the Tamriel view is when you back out of the zone, that's where it's getting cleaned up. But I'm assuming when you zoom into a specific zone, then all of the way shrines, all of the housing and all that will then open up, and that's fine. I like that way better than it is now, because currently it's way too prior to this patch. Dungeons and trials will no longer be shown by default on the Tamriel view of the map, but can still be toggled on. That's good. That you can still toggle it on. I like it being toggled on because when I'm going into the Tamriel view of the map, I mostly look for dungeons and trials because I like to manually travel there because I don't like using the queue system. I much prefer just to build my party and then go to the dungeon personally. That's just how I like to play. The Tamriel, Blackreach, and Arbus views of the map now have more catered filter lists. Good. Filters are good to have. The Way Shrines filter has been split into the following filters: Way Shrines, Dungeons, Trials, and Houses. Okay. If you have a focused quest, the quest's ultimate location will now show on the Tamriel and Arbus maps. If the ultimate location is on the Ring of the Arbus, I'm assuming that's like the bar. I've never heard it called that, but I could be wrong. I always called it the compass. When you're walking around, you have like a little bar. I think it's at the top. The bar at the top that has like north, east, south, and west on it. I'm assuming that's what they're talking about, but I could be wrong. I don't know what the Arbus map is. Quest indicators, group member indicators, and player indicators will now show symbolic locations if said indicators are pointing to those locations. Okay. The names of zones in the Tamriel view of the map will now appear as you zoom in. When hovering over a way shrine, the name of the zone will now appear in the tooltip. Okay, I guess that's a minor kind of thing. Converting disguises to collectibles. This is fantastic for if you're going around, you're questing, and you get yourself a disguise, and then everyone knows you get the disguise, you wear the disguise for a little bit, and then you have to break said disguise. Some of those disguises are really cool, but they take up your inventory slots, so you delete them because inventory management. So these are now being converted. I'm assuming not all of them. Not all disguises have been converted at this time, which is fine. Chop, ZeniMax, get it going. Convert them all. I'm a demandy player here. All right, so the ones that they got right now, they got the Forebear. I'm not even going to read all these. They have so many weird names. But you got 3 from Alkir's Desert, 3 from Addon, 2 from Bankorai, or as I like to call it, Bankorgi, from someone we used to play with. 1 from Betnik, 1 from Bleak Rock Isle, 3 from East March, 1 from Glenumbra, 1 from Grotwood, 1 from Greenshade, 1 from Hughesbane, 2 from Allball Tor, 1 from Reaper's March, 1 from Shadowfen, 1 from Stone Falls, 1 from Stormhaven, 2 from Stros Mackay, one from the Rift, and one from Vardenfell. That's a lot of disguises, by the way. Antiquity Leads, messaging improvements. Now, when you find a lead that is part of an iniquity, the final antiquity name is listed. And I said iniquity, and it's supposed to be antiquity. My bad. This game leads me to iniquity. Updates to initial mount speed. Oh, good. This is the one I was wanting. All right, here we go. The team wanted your initial experience unlocking a mount to be more impactful. So we made significant improvements to the speed of mounts prior to unlocking Major Gallop. The end result of these changes is that mounts will start out noticeably faster than they did previously, i.e. you are now much less likely to be overtaken on foot when mounted while still ending up at the same speed or very slightly faster at the top end. The details of the changes are increase the base mount speed bonus to 42%, up from 15%. Major Gallop is now Gallop and counts as minor buff instead of a major buff. The multiplicative bonuses of Gallop is now 15 instead of 30. Due to the way that this bonus multiplies with base speed, this ends up being no change for fully trained mounts, or very slightly buff if you're also using the Gifted Rider Champion Star. See below for more details. Okay, so it doesn't look like they're actually giving you zoomies. It looks like they're just front loading the zoomies, you know, which is good. When you start a new character, if your mount speed isn't leveled up, you can actually run faster on foot than you can on your mount, which I thought was silly. So I'm glad that they're changing that. I wish they would make the mounts actually faster. It would make running around Cyrodiil a little bit more enjoyable, to have a little bit more zoomies. Doesn't need to be like increased by a lot, just I'd say like 5 to 10% faster. I think would be a good. Here are the percentage changes different folks can expect to see as a percentage change from their prior speed. Sprinting on a brand new mount plus 19%, sprinting on a trained mount plus 13%, sprinting on a brand new mount with Gallop plus 5%, sprinting on a trained mount with Gallop, no change, sprinting on a trained mount with Gallop and Gifted Rider plus 1%. Gifted Rider, for those that don't know, I believe is in the green tree of the champion tree, up in the top left, I think. Starter zone refresh. The starter zones of Betnik, Strosmakai, Bleak Rock, Balfoyan, and Canarthy's Roost all have undergone a makeover, bringing them more in line visually with the detail of ESO's recent additions, such as Westweald or the Telvanni Peninsula. These starter zones have received improvements to their terrain transitions, materials and lighting, and atmosphere. Signs and banners have been positioned to better highlight services such as crafting or banking locations, and lighting has been adjusted to better define important paths and other areas of detail. With the addition of more organic clutter and props, various portions of the zone should feel less sparse and a little more lived in. This is a good change in my opinion, because when you first start out the game, first impressions mean a lot. And currently, if you go to Canarthy's Roost, Betnik, Strosmakai, some areas in there are just empty. So you wander and it's like a wasteland. So it's good they're updating that for new players versus starting them off in one of the new zones like they have been for the past few. And they get all confused with the main story and all that stuff. So I'm glad they're actually addressing that. All right, the craft champion point stars slotting improvement. This is the green tree. The following 9 craft green champion stars no longer need to be slotted for you to benefit from their effects. For those that haven't gotten up to champion rank or don't know how champion ranks work, you get champion points, you put them into the trees, and then you can slot 4 of the stars. They're active stars, as I like to call them, and then you also have passive stars. So the active stars, you slot them in the top of your tree through just I can't remember what they labeled it, but you basically pick them. They're active. These ones, they're taking off of that. They're taking these from being active and making them passive, which is great because the crafting tree is such a headache to manage. Out of all of the trees, you have to constantly switch between which ones you're doing depending on what you're doing, and instead they're just active all the time, which is the way it should have been to begin with, especially since these don't have any real effect on combat. So like meticulous disassembly, this one is for deconstructing things. Slotting this before you break items is obvious, so no one does it, so that it just never gets used. But they might do it when they refine things, but now it's passive, so it happens all the time. Plentiful Harvest has a 50% chance to double the node that you just collected. Treasure Hunter increases the quality of items in treasure chests. Rationer, this one makes your food go a little bit longer. I think it's 30 minutes. Liquid Efficiency, not efficacy, efficiency. Gives you a small chance that when you use a potion, it doesn't consume a potion. Homemaker, I don't remember. I think that has to do with the probe my brain here. Gives you an extra chance to get another design or, furnishing item recipe. I can't remember what they're called. They're like designs and all that. Furnishing, not my thing. That's a Lily thing. Lily does the furnishing. I just have the house. I use the house as a way shrine. I don't use it for decorating. That's a Lily thing. All right, so she uses Homemaker. Professional Upkeep, I think, falls into that. And then you have Infamous and Cut Purse. Those are for thieving. So if you like thieve, those are now going to be beneficial because they're now passives instead of active. The adjustments make it easier and more forgiving to engage with the crafter. Yes, it does. And reduces the need to swap stars before specific activities. Yes, no more forgetting to slap meticulous disassembly before big batch of resource refining. Yes, just get more resources from breaking things and refining things. It's fantastic. Good. Should have been done a long time ago. Increased Mundus Stone visibility on character and inventory UI screens. We want to better convey the value of having a Mundus Stone boon and where to find Mundus Stones to that end. We have added a reminder about Mundus Stones to the level 10 level up rewards. Okay. Updated the Mundus Stone help entry to be clearer and more direct about where you find them. Okay. No one used that help entry, by the way. The help exists, but no one touches it. They go to YouTube for that. Added discrete sections for Mundus Stone boons on both the character and inventory UI screens. If you reach level 20 without an active Mundus Stone boon, the text here turns red to suggest that you should acquire one. I find that might make this a little annoying if you decide to power level and, you don't have a Mundus Stone. Player response options. A new way to engage in conversations with story NPCs. There are now opportunities in some quests that provide a choice as to how you want to roleplay your character, known as player response options. While these options usually provide role-playing choices on how to respond to characters and alter their responses, they can sometimes alter the course of a quest in unexpected ways. Player response options display a special icon when the dialogue choice is available. Here are the types of dialogue choices you may encounter, in addition to the usual neutral voice response. Kind, a supportive, compassionate, or amusing response to an NPC. Grim, a darker, stern, sarcastic, like Grim, more like Grim a lot. Sarcastic or harsh response to an NPC. Merciful, a charitable response to an NPC in dire circumstances. This is never gonna be touched by me. I promise you that. I don't do mercy in this game. I'm ruthless. A vengeful response to an NPC in dire circumstances. Fantastic. Joker, a quip, ironic response, or comedic reply to an NPC. I might use Joker on occasion, but I'm probably gonna stick with Grim, because Grim is funny, because I main a Templar most times, and it's a holy warrior. You're supposed to be kind and charitable, and I like to play it opposite of flirty, an amorous response toward an NPC. Lily, I'm talking to you. You're gonna be flirting with everyone. First stages of console add-on support. PlayStation and Xbox, I forgot what it was. PlayStation Xbox will now get add-ons. Congratulations, you guys will now be able to enjoy some of the same stuff we've been enjoying for 2+ years. How does it feel to be that much farther behind because PC Master Race, motherfuckers? I'm just kidding. I love y'all. In preparation of console add-on support coming later this year, Update 45 will set the groundwork to ensure add-on developers have the tools needed to support their add-ons for console players. There will now be a gamepad version of the add-on manager. A new user-setting.txt entry will allow add-on developers to place the game into console mode. This will prevent loading any keyboard/PC specific files and fonts, load console-only files, and expose new console-specific APIs. The main purpose of this is to allow add-on developers a way to develop and test console add-ons without needing a console. That's actually very nice and very important for anyone who may develop add-ons. I would hate to have, like, if I was an add-on developer, I would hate to have the console that I want to put this add-on for, because I don't make add-ons right now. I've thought about making them in the past. I just don't. I might get into it in the future, but I don't want to make an add-on that's like really awesome and really cool that I think everyone would like to use and then not be able to make it for console, While I pick on everyone who's on console, I used to play on console. I actually met Lily on PS4 ESO. So Elder Scrolls Online on PlayStation 4 is where I met my now wife, right? So, bear that in mind, right? I have a special place for console players. Believe me. Oh, I lost my spot. Please note the console add-on support will only be for current generation consoles as they can support the memory limitation needed. So I think this is the PlayStation 5 and whatever the newest version of Xbox is, I think. Now I don't know what the next gen Xbox is, because they're not, PlayStation is linear, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5. Right, easy. The next gen came, that's probably PlayStation 6. Can't do that shit with the Xbox. It's Xbox Scorpion, Xbox X1, Xbox 360, Xbox Base, Xbox One. Like, come on now. Microsoft, be better. You're not Elon Musk, okay? Don't just, you already have Xbox. Just make it a little more linear, okay? I don't want to have to keep up with your names. New 10-year anniversary dies to obtain. Update 45 also introduces 3 new die options to obtain through achievement completion. The 3 new die options include the following: 10-year anniversary gold leaf, obtain the commemorative Safe Box looter achievement. 10-year anniversary ebon leather, obtain the commemorative activity achiever achievement. And 10-year anniversary ivory, obtain the commemorative Mundus missionary achievement. We don't like missionary in this house, all doggy. And, I'm SnideDog and we don't do no missionary up in here. Too basic. All right, new homes. 2 new homes will be available later in the update 45 life cycle. Shattered Mirror Isle, Scintillating Islands. I'd actually read that word. I don't know what is that word. Scintillating islands and skeletons of long-forgotten beasts float amid Miramore's luminous skies. Enterprising architects step through a shattered mirror portal in Fargrave and finesse this osseous mass. I think that's how you say osseous mass into a dazzling dimensional home. This notable home will be available for purchase later. Only $140 upon reaching that crown store because they always charge a ton of money for houses. And this is real life money, people. Don't buy these houses do not buy them if they're that expensive. Please don't do it. You can buy a whole ass game for the price of their housing. All right, don't do it. Call me a hater, but no. You could spend your money on literally anything else. You could donate it to me if you want, At least I'll use it for food, like real life food. These people, no. Don't do it. Don't buy these houses. Castle Skingrad. I don't even like reading these because I know they're going to be expensive. They're always expensive. Count, whatever the hell that word is. Cordially invites a caretaker to you're a caretaker for this house. You don't even own this house. You're not the master of this house. You're the caretaker, so you should be paying me gold to maintain and decorate Castle Skingrad as he rides out to support his loyal citizens. I expect a gold donation upon, working in this house. Like, you guys pay me to have this house. In-game gold, 10k a week, 10,000 gold a week in-game. Costs you nothing. And then you can put like quests inside that house and, to like trim the hedges and whatever, But no. You're gonna be paying to not even own the house. You're gonna be a caretaker. This notable home will be available for purchase later. Notable home. Yeah, these are expensive. Okay, don't buy it. They're gonna be like $100. Save your money. For the love of God. If you buy this house, add me on ESO at SnideDog so I can at least travel to it. Because I'm too broke and I'm not buying it. I want to mooch off you. Okay. New furnishings. In this update, we're adding new furnishing types that allow you to control the weather states in your homes. Nice, I actually like that. The new weather control furnishing, Canarth's Icon of Storm Control, is a collectible furnishing that will be available to earn later this year. Also in this update, we are focusing on new structural furnishing recipes, achievement rewards, and new master writs. 37 new furnishing plans are being sourced in 5 places. 9 new furnishing plans, which can be acquired via the Skingrad reward coffer, obtainable by completing the Westwield World Boss, Incursion or Delve Daily quests. 6 new Mirrormore themed recipes exclusive to completing Mirrormore's mosaics. 14 new Aelid themed recipes can be found in Westwield, Gold Coast, and Blackwood from bonus loot when excavating antiquities of intermediate or higher difficulty. Clovium bed can be obtained from monsters, containers, and more across Westwield. 7 new master writ furnishings, which can be purchased from Brawless Halalu, however you say that last. Alright, now, combat and gameplay. Combat and abilities. General, crouch. When successfully transitioning from detected to hidden after crouching, the effect that considers you in the sneak state is now visible on your effect bar. This effect can be hovered over in the character sheet to read what sneak does, rather than needing to open up the help tab and searching for what it does. This is one of the few times that improved visibility isn't a detriment to your sneaking about. I'm actually interested to see what that looks like because I always thought sneaking was pretty straightforward. So I'm kind of curious how many people were struggling to figure out what sneak did and how it worked. Fixed an issue where some channeled abilities could be used while crouching without canceling crouch. Fair enough. The following abilities will now actively remove stealth and invisibility upon activating them rather than when they complete. Stone Fist and Stone Giant's initial cast time, that's for Dragon Knight. Crystal Shard and Crystal Fragments cast time, that's Sork. Deathstroke and Morse, that's your Nightblade. Soul Shred and Soul Tether, Nightblade. Radial Sweep and Morse, that's Templar. Solar Flare and Dark Flare, which is also Templar. Abyssal Impact and Morph, that is Arcanist. Berserker Strike and Morse, Berserker Strike. I don't remember Berserker Strike. I think that's a two-handed skill. All variants of Smash. Lacerate and Morse, that would be for Lacerate is dual wielding. Dawnbreaker and Morph, that's Fighters Guild. All variants of Trample, I don't remember where that is. And all variants of Smash, I don't know where that is. Inferno and Ice Stabs Heavy Attack, that would be Destruction Stabs. Fixed an issue where the following abilities did not influence tooltips related to their effects. Fiery Banner and Rapid Rot. So now these Fiery Banner and Rapid Rot will actually tell you what they do. The following effects have been hard-coded to be easier and quicker to calculate, resulting in some minor adjustments to order of operations and combat calculations. The 10% damage reduction all player characters have, the 70% increased damage done with heavy attack against off-balance targets. The developer comment says, this change is mainly being done for performance reasons, to make it ever so slightly harder to reach the effect limit while simultaneously reducing the weight of combat calculations slightly. In doing so, these percent bonuses will interact slightly differently with the other effects, as they will now be bundled with other hard-coded bonuses that the server handles. Most notably, the 10% reduced damage taken effect will become slightly stronger than before, since we recently fixed other damage taken effects from being additive, resulting in a loss of damage reduction. We're less concerned with this increase in effectiveness. It's basically just making it so that the server handles it more efficiently and more effectively. So it's going to increase the potency of it because it's actually going to be processed properly. So that's the layman's terms of that. Minor Prophecy and Savagery's listed values are now consistent between their tooltip effect. They now always state the proper granted amount of critical rating equal to 6% based on your level. I just wish that when you had something, instead of it saying, with the critical strike, I wish they'd go away from the numbers of like 1014, for example. Get rid of that shit and put a percentage. It's easier for people to follow a percentage that's actually affected in the tool sheet for the character menu, rather than you know, having those numbers and then having to figure out what the percentage is, just for the layman. Devs, if you're watching this video, you know, do us a solid. Ditch those numbers and put in the percentage. You can keep the coding in the back end, just change the visual. Abilities with, unless that's what this is doing. If that's what this is doing, then you're awesome. You know, keep doing what you're doing. Abilities with a cooldown can no longer be queued if their slot was attempted to be activated while on cooldown. This resolves an unintended action to cast an ability the instant their cooldowns end. That's fair. Now you have to basically activate it and the timing and stop being lazy and queuing your skills. You lazy bastards. Do it more effectively. Get good. Alright, class abilities. We have the Arcanist. Curative Rune Form. Curative Rune Forms the Remedy Cascade. This ability and its morphs now properly prioritize the lowest health allies in the area. Good. The way it was before is sometimes the Remedy Cascade would not go to where you wanted it to. I play a lot of Arcanists as well as my Templar, and when I would cast Remedy Cascade, even though my party member was who I wanted to cast it on, it would cast on myself sometimes. And I'm like, I get that I had 75% health, but the person I wanted to get it was at 25% health. Please go to that person. Don't go to me. Okay, I barely got touched. Go to them. Alright, great that they fixed this. Dragon Knight, Ardent Flame, Warmth, fixed an issue where this passive's visual effects would become stuck on targets. That's minor. Necromancer, Gravelord, Unnerving Boneyard. Minor vulnerability and major breach from this morph can now be cleansed. Good. If all of my debuffs that I put on people can be cleansed, Gravelord's no different. Necromancer's no different. Make it so they can be cleansed too. Alright. Nightblade, Grim Focus, Merciless Resolve morph. Fixed an issue where this morph's stacks would not clear after leaving combat while Battle Spirit was active. Fair enough. Sorcerer, Dark Magic, Crystal Weapon. Fixed a rare issue where activating this ability could sometimes prevent you from interacting with objects via the interact prompt after leaving combat while it was active. Okay, that would be very annoying. I wonder who, I've never had that happen to me. I don't use Crystal Weapon. Could you imagine being that guy? Especially since they're like fixed a rare issue. If you got it, you have bad luck. Alright, in case, fixed an issue where this ability and its morphs would often miss larger targets such as St. Olms or Teleria. So basically, if this is predominantly in trials, a lot of the trash mobs are taller or bigger enemies. So in case looks like it wasn't working on them, now it will, which is good. The only people it shouldn't be working on is bosses. Daedric Summoning, Summon Storm Atronach. Fixed an issue where the damage caused by the impact of this ultimate and its morphs was not considered pet damage. So now it is considered pet damage. Great. That means the set that just got changed, or is being changed, or I heard was being changed, is being fixed. And yeah, it'll actually affect it. I can't remember what it was called, but yeah. Weapon abilities, dual wield expert. Fixed an edge case issue where sometimes this passive could result in higher weapon and spell damage than intended. This is probably going to be a slight nerf. Probably not really going to be noticed by too much, but it's a nerf. Scribing, Grimoires, Banner Bearer. Fixed an issue where the following script effects could be removed from the caster of the ability when an ally under the influence of the ability left the area. Immobilize, Focus, Cavalier's Charge Signature, Class Mastery Signature, Wayfarer's Mastery Signature, Brutality and Sorcery affix, and Savagery and Prophecy affix. So it looks like those are getting fixed. That's a good thing. Updated the tooltip for this Grimoire when paired with the Class Mastery Signature script to be clear about its frequency and application. Itemization and item sets. Exiled Redoubt. The light armor set is Vanderellen's Resonance of Vanderellen. Okay, so remember, devs, when I was talking about, changing these numbers? This is what I'm talking about. So, adds 1487 offensive penetration, adds 657 crit chance. Change that number, please, for the layman's out there, okay? Change that to be a percentage. Ugh. Adds 129 weapon and spell damage. Alright, for the 5-piece, you get dealing damage with a fully charged heavy attack, places an electric charge on yourself and below your enemy. After 1 second, both charges explode in a 4-meter Blast, each dealing shock damage to enemies hit. This effect can occur once every 6 seconds and scales off the higher of your weapon and spell damage. That can be fine. I could see Sorks using that sometimes, but it depends on how much damage the shock damage is. Because I mean, if it gets to be too high, you know, they're gonna nerf it to oblivion right after. If it's too low, no one's gonna get it. The medium armor piece is Jaren C's Blade Storm. This one gives weapon and spell damage, 129 weapon and spell damage, 1487 offensive penetration, 1487 offensive penetration, and then for the 5 piece, you have while in combat, casting an ability that leaves an effect on the ground, creates a 6-meter spike vortex that deals physical damage over 5 seconds to enemies inside it. After 5 seconds, enemies within the vortex are dealt additional physical damage over 5 seconds. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds and scales off the higher of your weapon and spell damage. I'm going to say the same thing as I said to the previous set. Just depends on what the numbers actually look like, because this could go either really OP or it could be really underperformant, of which are, you know, not so good. So we'll wait and see how that does. And then we have Lucilla's Windshield. Adds 4% healing taken, 1206 max health, and 1096 maximum stamina. For the 5 Ps, blocking 3 attacks within 10 seconds creates an 8-meter windshield at your feet for 10 seconds. Enemies within the area gain minor brittle, increasing their critical damage taken by 10%. While you are within the area, you gain major protection, reducing your damage taken by 10%. This effect can occur every 7 seconds. You can only have 1 windshield active time, meaning that this can, if I'm reading this right, means you can have this as 100% uptime if you are blocking attacks consistently. Could be good for the minor brittle on enemies, making it so your allies do a little bit more damage, as well as that little bit of protection for yourself. But if you have a warden, a Magden on your team, they provide minor brittle all the time, so you'll be missing out on that. So you might want to use something else. For the monster mask, you have Squall of Retribution. Gives you 1206 maximum health, and then when you take damage, gain 1 random effect for 6 seconds. Gain minor protection, reducing your damage taken by 5%. Gain a damage shield that absorbs up to 5,835 damage. Gain a heal over time that heals every 2 seconds. The heal over time scales off your maximum health. This effect can occur every 4.5 seconds. I could see this, you know, I could see some tanks using this, but it seems, depends on how random they want, like how, anything with random, it just depends on how it actually performs. So people will be probably testing that and seeing it. I look forward to it. Labsakuza. All right, for the light set, we have Fledgling's Nest. Adds 129 Magicka recovery. Adds 1096 maximum Magicka, 1096 maximum Magicka. And then for the 5 piece, while in combat, casting an ability that leaves an effect on the ground creates an 8-meter griffin nest for 10 seconds. You and your group members inside the nest gain Magicka and stamina recovery the first time, but how much? Doesn't say. Depending on how much, that could be actually really good for people, for group play, for a healer. The first time you or a group member leaves the nest, they gain minor courage for 10 seconds, increasing their weapon and spell damage by 250. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds, so it has 100% uptime. It could be good on a healer as an offset for a healer. Medium Noxious Boulder adds 129 weapon and spell damage, adds 657 critical chance, adds 1487 offensive penetration. And then for the 5 piece, we have dealing damage with a fully charged heavy attack creates a 3-meter poison boulder. After 1.2 seconds, the boulder rolls forward until it hits an enemy, dealing poison damage in a 6-meter area and creating a 6-meter pool of poison for 5 seconds, dealing poison damage and applying the poison status effect each second. This effect can occur once every 20 seconds and scales off the higher of your weapon spell damage. I could see stam decays using this. Anything that applies poison is great for stam decays because of their passive that gives them back stamina every time they give an enemy poison status effect. The heavy set is Heroic Unity. Gives you maximum stamina, maximum health times 2. And then for the 5 piece, activating a synergy gives you and up to 3 group members within 12 meters major heroism for 6 seconds, granting 3 ultimate every 1.5 seconds, and it can happen every second. Basically, you can have an 100% uptime depending on how many synergies are available. If your team is casting things for synergies, it could be good, but it takes team coordination. bear that in mind. Monster Mask, Orphean the Tactician. Adds 129 weapon and spell damage. And then while in combat, casting an ability that leaves an effect on the ground summons a tentacle at the target location after 2 seconds. The tentacle swings wildly in a 5-meter radius, dealing physical damage and stunning up to 6 enemies for 3 seconds. Enemies immune to stun take significantly more physical damage instead. This effect can occur once every 8 seconds and scales off the higher of your weapon or spell damage. I can see that being used sometimes. Depends on how much damage it does. Rewards for the worthy. The light armor is Arcade's Charity, gives Magicka Recovery, Max Magicka, and then when you cleanse a negative effect from yourself or an ally, restore 13 ultimate to the target. This effect can occur once every 9 seconds per target. The medium armor is Lamp Knight's Art. It adds maximum stamina, weapon and spell damage, and then gain 100,000 offensive penetration, but it also reduces your damage done by 46%. I'm not really a math guy, so if you are a math guy and you're also a theory crafter, tell me the numbers that you get with these, because I physically test these things, but I know 100,000 offensive penetration is a little on the excessive side. Yeah, I don't know, because reducing your damage by 46%, that's a lot, and I don't know many people that has this much offensive has that much resistances that you need that much offensive penetration. For those that don't know, penetration is the opposite of physical and magic resistance. So whatever your number is, so let's say you have 30,000, which is kind of the cap of it. It's like 31,000 some is the cap for your resistances. The penetration undoes that, right? It's the opposite. So 100,000 is just kind of excessive in my opinion, and this is a little bit high. In my initial, I haven't looked at these before, and I don't know, this is my initial thoughts. Heavy Black Feather Flight adds healing taken, maximum health, and armor. Yeah, armor is the opposite of penetration. Armor. When you break free, gain 100% movement speed for 7 seconds. This effect can occur once every 28 seconds. I don't see much use case for this. Yeah, I don't see too many people using that, even in PvP. There are just so many better sets for it. All right, item set changes. Item sets general. The following sets have been adjusted to their stat line bonuses to grant stats more applicable to their 5-piece effects and gameplay. Unleashed Ritualist. This is the one that I was talking about for the pet build. So this one is like when you mark someone, they take a certain % more damage from your pets. I don't remember the exact numbers, but you can Google the set. The 2-piece was Max Magicka. Now it is 129 weapon and spell damage. The 3-piece bonus was Max Magicka, and it is now going to critical chance. The 4-piece bonus was Max Magicka, and now it's going to be another weapon and spell damage. Armsel Reliquin is getting adjusted. The 2-piece is going from crit chance to weapon and spell damage. The 4-piece is being changed from crit chance to offensive penetration. The perfected bonus was stamina, and now it's going to be weapon and spell damage. So they're giving you more spell damages and less crit. Destructive Mage 2-piece was Max Magicka, and now it is going to be weapon and spell damage. Way of Fire 3-piece was max stamina, and now it's going to be maximum health. Poisonous Serpent, the 2-piece, was max stamina, and it's being changed to weapon and spell damage. The 4-piece was max stamina, and it's going to be changed to critical chance. The developer comment: we're taking a light sweep through a handful of sets this update to improve their stat lines to better reflect their centerpiece effects, gameplay requirements, and scaling. We plan on doing small passes like this over time as well, so this does not include every set we'd like to adjust. I think this is better to do is to alter the current existing sets, because currently we have something like 400 sets in the game, but people only use 10. So, I think it's better to, I would like to see more collectibles from new dungeons, like skins, mounts, unique furnishing items, things like that, things that you can just earn through the dungeons rather than these sets. Like, it's fine to have the sets, but I'd just rather have less sets in the game and adjust the sets that are currently in game to be better. I don't know if that makes sense, and I might be alone in that. You guys can tell me your thoughts on that below. Arena sets. Hunt Leader fixed an issue where this set did not trigger off the following sources of pet damage: Unstable Familiar and Volatile Familiar's Damage Pulse activate, and Summon Storm Atronach and its Morph's impact damage. Hunt Leader, if I remember right, it heals you and gives you back some stamina if you and your pet attack the same target. Definitely an off-meta set, but I don't blame people for using it. Crafted sets. Telvanni's Efficiency fixed an issue where the cost reduction bonus from this set was additive rather than multiplicative. Multiplicative? Words are not my friend today. So yeah, just wasn't mathing. The math wasn't mathing, and so they fixed the math so it mathed properly. Dungeon sets. Abyssal Brace fixed an issue where the visuals of this set would disappear if a group member left the area while it was active. Azure Blight Reaper fixed an issue where the damage from this set was treated as single target rather than area of effect. I don't know what that means as far as server or whatever. So it might not have been calculating numbers right, potentially. Not 100% sure. Unleashed Ritualist. This set now increases your damage done with your summoned pets at all times rather than causing your damage to mark enemies to take increased damage taken by your pets for 10 seconds. Okay, so they basically are making the making it permanent, which is great for you pet builds out there, and for those of us that hate those pet builds, makes us a little sadder, but that's okay. Fixed an issue where the set did not work with the following sources of pet damage: Unstable Familiar and Volatile Familiar's Damage Pulse activate. Okay, so that's getting an increase as well. I don't know what the amount that the percentage that it increases, or if it's flat damage. I don't use pets very often, so I don't really look at Unleashed Ritualist that often. Flame Blossom. This set no longer deals unintended extra instances of damage when paired with certain other sets. I wonder who found that error out. Flame Blossom is an awesome set for mag DKs, by the way. If you're not using it, highly recommend trying it out, seeing what you think of it. At first, I thought it sucked. When I just read the tooltip, it kind of sucks. But I found that it actually works a whole lot better than I thought it would. Give Flame Blossom a try. If you're into off meta. If you're into meta, then just follow the meta. Stay on the meta. This channel does not promote any meta, and I'll tell you why. Because they always change that damn thing. So you're going to be chasing it endlessly, and you are going to get patch fatigue, right? Because the patch notes here, they always change up the meta. Always. So if you want to spend an endless time grinding meta, and go for it, I would never advise you to do so, because you will start to get tired of the game, because they patch this game so often that by the time you get your stuff, you gotta play with it for a month or two, and then they change it. So that's why I never chase meta. I would advise people that want longevity in the game to not chase meta, but it's your decision. Monster Masks. Barren Thirst fixed an issue where the visuals of this set would sometimes fail to play. That would be annoying, because I use a lot of visuals. I don't use other stuff. I use those visuals. Overland sets. Way of Fire. This set now only activates off light and heavy attacks rather than any weapon attack. Where the developer comment is, we're tuning down how much damage this set can passively deal by preventing it from activating off residual abilities, in hopes to make it less oppressive in PvE environments. So now you just gotta light weave and heavy attack. So for those of you that don't light weave and heavy attack, sucks for you if you used Way of Fire. But it's mostly PvP that used it, so most people in PvP, they know what they're doing. PvP sets. Shared Pain. Adjust the sound effects for this set to reduce the amount of noise generated when frequently activated. I never used that set, but it would be very annoying to hear that any kind of jingle go off over and over and over again. That'd be annoying. Tracker's Lash. Adjust the volume of the persistent audio so it's quieter. Good. Trial sets. Slivers of the Null Arca. This set no longer occasionally proc multiple times before its cooldown is applied when used in tandem with certain abilities. I don't remember what Slivers of the Null Arca does, so I can't give much feedback on that. Now, Poisonous Serpent. Reduce the damage on hit of this set by 92%. What a nerf. But it now always applies the poison status effect rather than having a 10% base chance. I don't know how I feel about that. This is Poisonous Serpent. Once again, applies the poison status effect. I could see that being good for, like a Stam DK. I don't know how I feel. This set no longer activates the 1 second global cooldown for other instant damage proc sets, as it primarily deals damage over time now. Fixed an issue where this set would ignore its requirements to activate with any heavy attack. Fixed an issue where this set could trigger off any poison damage effect rather than only poison damage abilities as the tooltip stated. That's fine. This set felt like a weaker version of Way of Fire, dealing the same damage with more requirements. As such, we're doing a very mild rework to have this set focus on uptime for the poison status effect in hopes that it has more unique interplay with passives in other sets. Overall, these adjustments will increase this set's damage potential for builds that had a lower uptime on poisoned, which is fine, but there's something to be said about, direct damage or, like upfront damage. That burst potential can sometimes be really nice. So getting rid of some of the few ways that people can get that instant burst damage kind of sucks a bit. But we'll see how it goes. Class sets. Gardener of Seasons fixed an issue where this set's application of minor heroism would cause sound effects to play each application rather than only when it was applied on targets who did not already have minor heroism. Okay, that's fair. Soul Cleaver. This set now increases the potency of your siphoning abilities by 21%, up from 18%. This was a dud of a set, and it's probably going to stay a dud of a set. I don't see too many people using Soul Cleaver, unless they increase the damage from some of the siphon abilities. I don't see many people. Wrath Sun. This set stacks now last for 15 seconds, up from 10. Yeah, but the thing is this set takes 40 stacks before you actually get its use. This is the Templar set. Soul Cleaver is the Nightblade set, and Gardener of Seasons, I believe, is the Warden set. Wrath Sun, if that's the one I'm thinking of, you have to have 40 stacks of Dawn's Wrath abilities before it pops its stuff. That really needs to be reduced for it to be impactful. Skill styling. The Snipe Vibrant Yellow skill style will now appear correctly on the Lethal Arrow morph. Okay, so they fixed the material on that. Fine. Companions. General. Fixed an issue where various companion voice lines in response to tribute matches were missing. More voice lines for the companions. I usually tell my companions to shut up all the time. That's what I do. Alright, Deadlands fixes and improvements. Quests and zones. Eidetic memory. The Reformatory Register now has a copy on the ground near Tufe after turning in the quest. General fixed an issue in the Bazaar of the Fargrave City District where 2 instances of Grizzlefang were spawning. Now, 1 instance of Grizzlefang will spawn. Fire Song fixes and improvements. Quests and zones. Dark Brotherhood contractors have eliminated a doppelganger of Luce Germain in the Jaded Ornug Tavern. Gold Road fixes and improvements. Dungeons and group content. Sanity's Edge. Ansel the Tormentor. Player characters are now restricted from using abilities such as Procognition during and for a short time following the attunement process. Quests and zones. Eidetic memory. The ritual scroll in Nanagalo is now properly readable after the quest is complete. Paths of Chaos. Players who teleported out of that place could now re-enter the maze gate upon returning. Greymore fixes and improvements. Antiquities. General adjusted the dig site in the reach that was slightly underground. Thank God. I got that one, and you want to know something? I had to get really in the right spot to get to it, okay? It was damn near impossible. Thank you for fixing that. I appreciate it. As if I'm ever going to get it again. But, I had it that one time. Quests and zones. The Coven Conspiracy Prologue. Scout Gunth no longer harasses you to take the Coven Conspiracy, which is still properly given by Lyris and Riften. This is to not distract new players in the zone with a prologue quest. Zenimax, pro tip, this is something I would love. Turn off all those prologue quests, make people activate them. Don't have them, just out and about, to go about your business. Get rid of Stuga, I don't want to go to, to go deal with the orcs. Okay, if I'm in Addon, I don't want to see Stuga there being like, I've been looking for you. I haven't been looking for you. I've been avoiding you, actually. I just came here to quest in Addon. I don't want to go and help you on your journey. No, that takes me out of Addon. Okay, yeah, get rid of those people. Make them activate it. Even have it as a quest thing. You go there eventually, or DLC quests, whatever. I don't know. Just get rid of Stuga. I'm tired of Stuga. Dealt with her for years now. She's a thorn in my side, right? And I don't want to see in the comments, oh, well, you could stop her if you just did the quest. No, I don't want, and you can't make me, okay? I haven't ordered these things, and I never get around to doing it, so I'm not going to Rothgar when I don't want to go, okay? Grey Council questline. Fixed for map and quest pin locations while within Castle Greyholm. Cool. High Isle. Fixes and improvements. Monsters and NPCs. General. Corrected flesh Atronox in the Spire of the Crimson Coin to use proper up-to-date model rather than the old one. So now your flesh Atronox look like the new flesh Atronox instead of the old flesh Atronox. I'd like to have a mix of them, like tons of different types of flesh Atronox, like little bits and pieces, like heart pumping on one side and then the other one pumping where it matters, you know what I'm saying, boys? Just a suggestion that will never be taken seriously. Quests and zones. Hold Trail. Fixed a handful of issues where the quest could become blocked if you dismissed Ember in the middle of activities involving her. Grain with Envy. Silver Slips dialogue now clears her quest compass pin. Good. Added a hint to summon Ember on certain steps where the hint is missing and she's required for the step. Good. The Princess Detective fixed a handful of issues where the quest could become blocked if you dismissed Isabel in the middle of an activity involving her. Morrowind fixes and improvements, quests and zones. General. For new players, the Invitation to Morrowind system mail will no longer include the Divine Conundrum quest starter. It is still available in the Crown Store. Yeah, that's what you can do. Add all of them to the Crown Store and get rid of Stuga. I want execution where you walk Stuga up the gallows, okay? And put her where she rightfully belongs, halfway through the floor. If you know if you're catching my drift, Zenimax, you hear me? Okay, rant over. I'm done. I'm off Stuga now, okay? Mertmeyer, DLC game packs, fixes and improvements, quest zones, general, empty nest, dead aberration no longer continuously turns to face your follower. Necrom, quest and zones, general, dim and distant pass, fixed a handful of issues where the quest could become blocked if you dismissed Sharp as Night in the middle of an activity involving him. Light the way to freedom. You now cannot defeat Sandoval without Sharp as Night present, resolving some strange continuity outcomes. Paths unwalked. Fixed a handful of issues where the quest could become blocked if you dismissed Azandar in the middle of an activity involving him. Tempting fates. Fixed a handful of issues where the quest could become blocked if you dismissed Azandar in the middle of an activity involving him. I wonder how many people dismissed their follower in the middle of their quest lines. I'm very curious. Orsinium fixes and improvements, monsters and NPCs. A few chubloons in the ice flows of northern Rothgar have moved to the shoreline to prevent cases where you could get stuck under the ice flows if you charge them with critical charge. That is hilarious. Ascending Tide fixes and improvements. Riven Spire art and animation. Adjusted some lighting in the Wormcold's nest. The base game fixes and improvements. Alliance War and PvP. About time! Okay. The correct audio cue will now play at the end of Battleground matches that consist of a single round. Runebound tomes from the Battleground merchant now properly bind on pickup. This will affect any runebound tomes that have been placed in guild banks or guild traders. The item or items will bind to the first player to remove these from those locations. Additional flag locations have been added to Moda Ka and the Crazy King Battleground. Integrated Missing Battleground VO for English Orc Female and Redguard Female. General art asset fixes to multiple Battleground maps have been addressed. In Port Duford, we fixed a spot behind a particular crate where you could previously get stuck. If you are very low ranked, you will no longer sometimes be matched with players ranked far above you. So it's basically added some matchmaking, I guess. Updated Battlemasters Duel and Battlemasters Rivalry text with flavor text and removed TBD note. Updated the descriptions for all two-sided Battleground weekends to clarify that only the AV8 queues are affected by the queue restrictions. The AP bonus is still for everyone. So not exactly what I was hoping. I was hoping that there would be, fixed issue where the server would sometimes freeze if there was more than 20 people casting skills at once. I'd like to see that kind of bug fixed. But no, let's update these easy ones. Art and animation, general. The issue where you could get stuck in a fixed spot is fixed. Props are now visible when beachside imbibe emote is used. Props now correctly appear for the beachside drink emote. Item says the visibility of effects for Van der Rollen's resonance have been adjusted. Audio. Sound effects now correctly play for the morphs of the following skill styles: Force Shock, Onyx Black, Puncture, Lava Burst, Summon Wing Twilight, Warrior, Volley, Winterfall, Meteor, Winter's Blast, Critical Charge, Winter's Gale. Crafting and economy. General. Fix some redundant naming schemes with fishing nodes while under the effect of Hesmir's Fish Eye Rye to resolve redundancy with naming scheme. Hireling Mail. Rank 3 hireling males will now properly grant potency runes once again. Okay. Events and celebrations. Anniversary Jubilee. Anniversary Jubilee cakes are now more consistently flagged to indicate they are acquired through purchase, promo, or event. Exploration and itemization. Bleak Rock and the quest What Waits Beneath Haldrine now sounds properly spectral. Updated overland ambience in this zone. Stros Mackay, when it rains and you are inside of a ship, you no longer loudly hear the weather outside. General, unearth some buried treasure chest in Betnik, Stros Mackay, and Canarthi's Roost, and Bleak Rock Isle. I believe that means there's going to be more treasure chests around there to get you some training gear. Housing, general. Unlocked homes now appear correctly on the Tamriel map for newly created characters. Homes. In the Lake Mire Zanmir house, you can no longer charge through the underwater windows. I didn't know you could do that to begin with. That's fantastic. Fixed a few minor placement issues in the furnished template preview for the Goriner's estate house. This will not affect any owned versions of this home. Made a few minor adjustments to the ceilings in the Gardener house to make the collision match more accurate. Furnishings. Adjusted the furnishing rubble pile, ancient stone, so that its base had collision. Adjusted the sitting locations for the furnishing elsewhere Chai's lounge upholstered so your legs no longer clip into the chase seated. Fixed an issue with the following window furnishings where their lights would suddenly turn off when the weather in the home was stormy. And there's a ton of them, so I'm not reading them. Actually here, here's what we'll do. You can pause it right here, and you can, go ahead and, I'm not gonna, that's a lot, okay? I'm already reading a lot, okay? Don't kill me, people. Rename the furniture collectible category to furnishing to match the furnishing item category. The light for the furnishing a little cracked no longer turns off after half a minute and can be turned back on. Fixed an issue where if you search the term bust in the collections menu, the furnishing trophy Lord Hollowjack would appear as a valid result even though it's not a bust. The hint for the haven of the Five Companions house no longer incorrectly says it is available for purchase. Made a minor adjustment to the crafting view when using the scribing altar furnishing. The Necromancer's Spire Narrow and Necromancer Spire Alcove furnishings icons now display the correct icons and are no longer swapped with one another. Adjusted the category in the crafting menu for the furnishing Colovian Armchair Noble Backlist to be under Dining. Adjusted the precision edit node for the following furnishings to match their normal pivot points. You can pause the video right here and you can read these your damn self, alright? Alright, now let's move on. Okay. Miscellaneous. General, you no longer need to re-log into ESO after purchasing the game SKU that delivered you a new character slot. Fixed an issue where if you logged in while hidden within a hidey hole, you may fail to enter stealth correctly. Your loading times when limit background FPS is enabled and your video settings won't be negatively impacted. Refine the text in the Slayer of Death itself achievement to be more specific. You will now see a more accurate value for your connection ping when using the latency command. See here for more info, which I'm not going to click on that. You guys can handle your own, okay? Endeavors and Golden Pursuits. Endeavors and Golden Pursuit activities asking you to slay foes in Telvanni Peninsula, Apocrypha, and Vardenfell will now progress correctly. Endeavors and Golden Pursuit activities asking the player to complete quests in a specific zone will now count daily quests. Endeavors and Golden Pursuit activities asking the player to complete quests in a specific zone will now count to the completion of multi-zone quests. Loading tips will now appear for Golden Pursuits when a Golden Pursuit campaign is active. Endeavor and Golden Pursuit activities asking you to devour corpses as a werewolf will now count correctly. I got a bug for you guys, or not really a bug, but a suggestion. If you have a Golden Pursuit or Endeavor that involves leveling, if the player already has all 20 slots of max leveled characters, just give it to them, okay? I don't want to have to delete one of my babies, okay, and then re-level it. You know, it's just not the same. All right, I went through that hassle once. Don't make me redo it. Okay, rant over. Mounts. Using a riding speed training book while mounted will now correctly increase your mounted speed without reload. Polymorph heads will no longer disappear when riding holojack mounts. There are holojack mounts. Did I miss something? I haven't seen them. Oh, maybe I have seen them. Whatever. Personalities. Fix various visual effects visual issues with certain personalities. Preview is now disabled when riding as a passenger on a multi-rider mount. Preview keybinds will now be grayed out while preview is unavailable. Fixed a visual issue that could occur when you previewed a skin and then performed a weapon swap. Quest and zones. General, perform significant cleanup of map and compass pin direction in Balfoyan, Betnig, Bleak Rock Isle, Canarthy's Roost, and Stress Mackay. This should fix many issues that include the following: doors that lack door pins, NPCs and objects missing overhead pit, bizarre directionality for quest fixed more people, cats, rats, books, guars, resource nodes, etc. that are floating, buried, or clipping. Good. There are also some that sometimes appear inside the walls, and that's kind of annoying to deal with. I'm just pointing that out there, Zenimax. Fixed another batch of typos in books, journal, text, and dialogue. Balfoyan, Breaking the Tide, fixed an issue where you could spy Reinhild Spalding if you approach a certain way. Salt of the Earth, fixed some issues where you might see the various Argonians spawn if you approach from certain angles. Running into rescued Argonians back in town before rescuing all of them will no longer give you their "save me" dialogue options. Fixed an issue where abandoning the quest immediately after accepting it would not properly respawn the bestowers. Zarin the Peril, you can no longer advance the step Defend Fort Zarin by hopping up and down on a particular table. That's hilarious. Bleak Rock Isle, I just wonder how, hopping up and down on a particular... Who figured this out? Okay. Bleak Rock Isle. Orky's Hollow now has a graveyard for resurrecting inside the cave, should you be mauled to death by bears. The Frozen Man compass and map pins have been greatly improved for this quest. Good. The Frozen Man, the abandoned swords interaction camera, is no longer staring into a pile of rocks. Sparking the Flame. I'm in Rolunda's house and Bleak Rock is no longer accessible while the door fire. Cold Arbor into the woods. Item interactions during this quest did now have proper interact cameras. A light in the darkness. If you turned in Army of Meridia before turning in a light from a darkness, King Dinar should now be present outside the Fighters Guild. Gunumbra rally cry Shaza Gradazik no longer becomes non-interactive during the waves of werewolves. Broughtwood Roots under Ruins adjusted the position and physics interactions that could sometimes cause Rustjaw to spawn inside the ceiling. Canarthy's Roost cast adrift added back a previously deactivated version of Sergeant Firion on the beach near Quartermaster Oblon. The Family Business. The alchemical tools are now interactable and no longer run into non-interactable issues. Thanks to Dark Brotherhood contractors, Sentry and Anelli's doppelgangers have been quietly eliminated. Main quest. Added improves stuck protection to many followers throughout the chapters of the main quest. In the rare instance they become stuck, you spawn. Fixed a handful of issues with missing overhead pins on NPCs you are supposed to talk to. Castle of the Worm. The barrier around the tower summit now properly disappear after defeating the Matamarco projection. The instance will now properly remember how many Atronaut parts you found between logout/reloads. Daughter of the Giants. Lyris properly plays her suiting up animation again. When Lyris entering the Imperial camp and manifestation of terror sections of the instance, she is no longer prevented from firing off contextual lines. The Harborage. Combat pets and companions now properly get the same ghostly appearance as yourself when in the Prophet's trippy headspace, Harborage. Running away from the Prophet after he appears to grant you the Harborage quest will no longer point you to a weird or non-existent quest location as a backup. Valuable Blades, if you log out really fast after the Prophet starts to open the portal to the valley, the portal will now be present upon returning. This resolves previous issues of the portal not working as intended. Reaper's March. The Arbordong Cold. Logging out and back in within Halls of Ichor no longer loads you into the quest in a broken state. Stonefalls corrected an old legacy map connector in Davin's Watch that could lead quest pins leading into it from outside the city to become confused. Fixed a tiny section near the western gate while inside the city proper, caused the map and quest pins to go haywire as you ran through it. Wow, take a course in reading. Stormhaven, during the Eternal One event in Bone Snapper runs, invisible entities no longer turn hostile. This reduces the draw threat from companions/pets. Dros Mackay, Izzad's treasure. You can no longer interact with the unearthed chest after emptying it of its contents. We're almost done, people. We're almost done. We're back to the UI. This is it. This is it, people. This is the home stretch. You know, if you made it this far, you know, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Every like, comment, and subscription to the channel makes me moister than an oyster. And if you're actually listening to this, what moister than an oyster in the comment section, I will pin you in the comment section to whoever gets it first. All right. All right. Achievements. Players who have the Imperial Fragment Collector achievement showing up as completed but with partial progress will have it updated to the correct 100% progress. Addons. Fix an issue where add-on files underneath PC or keyboard folders would still load on console and enforce console flow mode. Audio. Added in audio that was missing for when players acquired or spend Imperial Fragments and RIP vouchers. Gamepad. Mundus Stone bonuses are now properly displaying and advanced stats within the character screen. Mundus boon names display correctly. General bug fixes. Companion equipment silhouette no longer randomly appears as your player character's race instead of the companion's race. Fix various quest breadcrumbing issues. You should now be reprompted to download language packs whenever they are not detected in the game files. PS4, PS5 only. Added a quit option in the main menu in Gamepad UI mode on PC. The Mount Training Ready icon on the keyboard stats page now correctly displays its tooltip. Fixed a UI error that could sometimes occur when going into the video settings on Gamepad mode for PC. The patron search for console now works as intended. Crown Store bundles with collectibles and quest starters now properly grayed out when purchased. Backing out of the outfit dialog will now return the player to the subcategory from which they opened the dialog. Search results are now properly displayed when switching guilds in the guild bank. Fixed an issue where patron tooltips were being displayed on Gamepad UI even when the search returned no patrons. The continue keybind on the tribute summary screen stays on screen as intended regardless of your selected aspect ratios. Switching from keyboard to Gamepad UI while at an alchemy station no longer causes a stray pop-up to appear on screen. The camera previews for third-person camera setting now correctly show the adjustments being made. Updated the lock states of the skill style icons in the skill menu to be more readable at a glance. Renamed the Antiquities section in the journal to Antiquities Codex. Some icons in the navigation window on Gamepad UI now correctly dim when not selected. Acquiring the same sky shard on a second character clears the sky shard tracking if it was tracked in the zone guide. The invert y-axis option in settings has been more clearly labeled to differentiate between gamepad and keyboard setting. The gamepad UI gender slider is now properly labeled male and female. Aww, don't they mean sex slider? Some icons and collections had the border edge replaced. Previewing furnishings on Gamepad UI now works correctly. Console loading screen tips no longer show the incorrect PC version of the tip. Fixed UI error caused by viewing products in the Gamepad Crown Store with an associated completed account-wide achievement. Gamepad inventory no longer changes categories when destroying the last item in a category. Certain currencies correctly play sounds when you deposited them or withdrew them from the bank. Keybinds in the add-on manager screen no longer overlap text in certain languages. The map will no longer focus on hidden pins in Gamepad UI. Stats modified by a Mundus Stone on the character sheet now display correctly. Greyhome's name will now be displayed on the Tamriel map. The champion bar will revert to the normal champion bar after leaving the Vengeance campaign. A UI error no longer occurs when quickly switching between group and activity finder tabs. Scribing. An extra space is no longer present in crafted ability tooltips. Group finder. The default roles of a group finder listing will now reset each time the category is changed. Screen narration. If you are under level 50 with no account champion level, screen narration no longer reads out your non-existent champion level. The Gamepad UI gift claim screen should now narrate correctly. In addition, change the keybind to view the tooltip in the Gamepad UI gift claim screen to a toggle instead of a hold. All the text on the screen while at the riding trainer will be narrated in for the Gamepad UI. The confirm logout pop-up shall now be fully narrated. The text on screen while viewing a Crown Store product should now narrate correctly. The right side details panel for the various campaigns should now narrate. The weapon style, armor style, and restyle screens should now narrate properly. Holy crap, that is a lot. I don't know if I'm gonna, I don't know if I want to read all these bug fixes in future episodes of these patch notes. I might skip them, to be honest. Like, especially at that UI section, that was like stabbing my face with a fucking hot poker. Tell you what. Anyway, if you made it this far, once again, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, get notified for all of our new videos. Welcome to the SnideDog Nation. If you guys want to join our Discord, link down in the description below. If you want to hang out with us on stream. We stream on Twitch and YouTube, and we try to talk to as many people as possible. We just like to hang out and have a good time. Anyway, peace.
This has been a SnideDog Studio production. If you like what you saw, don't forget to do all those notification-y things so you don't miss out on any future content. If you'd like to join the fun over on Twitch during the live streams, then be sure to follow us over on Twitch as well so you can take part in all the fun. You'll want to follow both of us because it's the same recipe, just a different person playing. Finally, for more information on what to expect in the future and what other content to expect from us now, go to my website at jiffytalking.com. Thank you, and thanks again for watching. Bye! We'll see you next time!